Microsoft Forms. On the surface, it's just a basic form builder. But in reality, it's a powerful and highly integrated form builder for Office 365. If your organization has Outlook email, you can use Forms, and I can show you how. My name is Jordon Taylor with the Corporate Training Companion, and today I'll walk you through 3 use cases for Microsoft Forms as a corporate trainer. So let's get started. You can get to the Microsoft Forms landing page by going to forms.office.com. That'll bring you here. Just click sign in, and that will take you to your dashboard. Equally, if you're already in a Office 365 app, you can click the waffle up here and find Forms, and that'll take you there. To create a new form, you can click the new form button. You've got new quiz here, or you can also import. You import from Word files, and they need to be in a particular structure, which you can see here. But if it's easier for you to build your questions in Word and then just import them, you can do that. Let's jump into creating a new form, and we'll look at the templates from there. So once we're in here, we can title it, just call it new form for now, but there's a ton of different templates that you can start from. You've got different categories that you can narrow your search down to. You can also start with a blank slate. So let's hit the quick start with a question, and we have multiple choice, text entry questions, ratings, data, ranking, Likert. We can have folks upload a file, use Net Promoter Scores for survey feedback, which is big for corporate trainers, and you can use different sections. So let's do a multiple choice, pretty straightforward. We add our new question, which training session did you attend? Now you've got different options like that. And then you also have a number of options for each of your questions. This add option will just give you another line item. You can also add just an other option, which will give them the ability to write in their own answer. You can allow them to put multiple answers, which means that they can check all 3 boxes, or you can also limit those. You can make this question required or not required, meaning that they can skip it or they may not be able to. And then there's a few advanced options. You can shuffle them. If you're doing a quiz, that might be a particularly effective approach. You can turn these into drop down instead of radial buttons. You can also add a subtitle if you wanted to add additional context to your question. And then there's branching, which is an interesting way to navigate people through a form and not force them to answer a bunch of questions that aren't really relevant to them. Across the top, you've got your navigation panel here where you can change the style. So the layout of the form can be a little bit different. You've got some options there. You can change the background. You can even put music. I've never done it, but it is possible. And then there's some customization that you can do. You can upload your own stock images. You can use different color themes, and just generally try and get it a little closer to the brand of your company. There's also a few settings that you can play with related to who can fill out the form, and then just the different types of options for responses. You can collect responses only during certain dates or times. You can shuffle questions here, and just a number of other settings that you can play with. You've got a preview mode, so you can see what it looks like live, collect responses, view responses, which we don't have any yet, present, and then there's a few different options that you have. So those are your basics of building the form. Let's jump back and take a look at a post-training survey. There's a couple of responses in here. If I go to view responses, I can use this in-app breakdown to get a pretty detailed view of how people reacted to this training. If I didn't get enough responses, I can send reminders to folks and type in the email addresses or the distribution list. I can also check individual responses. I can go through those from this menu. We can open these results up in Excel. So if you wanted to download these responses and view them in Excel, manipulate them, pivot them to a table, there's also a lot of integrations that you can do with Power BI and Power Automate. For instance, I have 5 different people that I track survey results for. I also want to look at those results in aggregate, all in one view. And I use Power Automate to send all of the feedback into one master spreadsheet, and then Power BI to analyze it. So you can do things like that too. And if that's something you're interested in, drop a note in the comments and I can create a video on how to set that up. So that's your basics for reporting in Microsoft Forms. Let's take a look at how to build a quiz. Quizzes are really, really similar. The functionality is going to be pretty much the same. So I'm going to look at a pre-built quiz that I did earlier and just highlight some of the differences. You can see navigationally, it's the same setup, the same navigation bar. You can choose different templates. And here, the big difference on each of the questions is that number one, you have to make sure that you choose a correct answer. And number two, you have to make sure that you assign a certain amount of points. Now, for trainers, it's probably not useful particularly, but there is a math option that allows you to create math questions and it'll help calculate the answers. You can also choose multiple answers, again, making this required or not required, and then your advanced features are the same. So when it comes to creating the quizzes, it's the exact same motions. You just have to make sure that you assign points and choose a correct answer. When viewing results in a quiz, it is a little bit different. You have a lot of the same things. Your in-app view, very, very similar breakdown. You can send reminders. You can review answers individually if you like, but there's also the post scores option, which allows you to post grades for folks. So you can see that this person's grades have been posted, this person's haven't. So I check that, I hit post score, and they'll be notified of what their score was on this quiz. And those are the big differences when it comes to quizzes versus forms. Now, for both quizzes and forms, you can collect responses in a variety of ways. You can just email. You can post it in Teams as a message to people in your group, in your organization. You can set up a QR code. You can also embed it on an internal web page. Equally, if you want, you can copy the link, add it to an email, and send it out to your participants manually. All of these are options depending on what works best for you. And so that's forms, quizzes, building, responding, collecting the data. Let's take one final look at one more feature. This one has to be done directly in Teams, and it's polling. You have the option to poll members of a chat or a channel. And to do that, you just click on the actions button down here, which is the little plus icon. You scroll down to polls and you select that. You may also see forms depending on which version of Microsoft Teams you're running. If I click add here though, it's not gonna let me do it. It's just gonna give me an error message that this is being moved to polls and that polls is gonna get some upgrades. But for now, let's do polls. And what we'll see here is polls powered by Microsoft Forms. And we can do a quick question. Will you consider using Microsoft Forms? It's really nice because it adds your potential answers in there. I'm going to go ahead and add all of those. You may want to record the names of respondents. You may not. You may want to share the aggregated results with the responders, or you may not. Once you're ready, you click preview. You'll get a little preview of what it's going to look like. You hit send, and there it is in your chat. I'm going to go ahead and hit yes. I'll submit my vote, and there you have it. That is your third option for using Microsoft Forms. So that's your quick introduction to Microsoft Forms and 3 great use cases for corporate trainers. I hope it was helpful. I hope it sparked some ideas for engaging your learners with this tool. If you found it useful, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and bell icon because there's new training-related videos coming out every single week. And if you want me to cover something specific, drop it in the comments below. My name is Jordon Taylor with the Corporate Training Companion. Until next time.